Alright guys, today is the day. Finally got all the parts to the MazMad power steering, do-it-yourself budget upgrade. Let's get after it. Alright, first thing we got to do today, we got to set up a table for all our new goodies. What does that entail? Well, I need to get my, excuse the noise, air conditioning running. Hey, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and it's already like 88 degrees here. I know it's hot where you guys all are too. So, the swap meet vehicle, it's got my table in it. So, oh yeah, flower truck. Washing it the other day. Sprayed a bunch of the paper in there. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah. It's a nice $200 when they go on sale. $200 rack. I got a bunch of them in the garage. I just screwed it to the wood floor and then mechanic wired it to a couple of holes that were already up there. It doesn't tip over. Buckets fit perfect. It's great for swap meeting. Got a couple of chairs. Got 3 different tables in here. Got our chairs for sitting around the lounging. Yeah, stuff. Swap meet stuff. All right, I think this is the one. If I can get this out of here, we're learning how to do stuff one-handed with a camera. All right. Six-speed transmission for a Corvette. Ended up deciding not to use it for a project. That is going on swap meet. All right. But it's always in my dang right. Come on. Wait. Just enough angle of the dangle. Get her out and I'll whack the trailer. Well, that wasn't too horrible. I thought it was going to be worse than that. Alright, buy a little flower truck. So just a little update. The other day I get a notice that my insurance is canceling the flower truck and my S10 pickup. I got 6 vehicles with them. And out of the blue just canceled them. I call them and they say, yeah, there's nothing we can do. It's a commercial vehicle. We don't do commercial vehicles. I'm like, you've had it for 8 years and you're just figuring that out now? And then the pickup, I mean, I got my 04 Blazer, you know, the S10. I said, well, is it because you don't think it's worth the estimated amount, you know, the agreed upon amount? Because you agreed upon it 8 years ago. And, I said, no, they just don't think it's a collector's item. I said, well, put it down as a daily driver. No, they're just canceling it. No reason, rhyme or reason. I'm like, that don't make no sense. But you're keeping my other 4 vehicles on? My 04 Blazer? That's okay? MazMad's okay? The 64 C10's okay? And the ramp truck's okay? Yeah, no problem with all that. So they juggle my policy around and put everything onto one group minus the 2. And it went up $80 a month. They got rid of 2 and raised my rate. Like, I gotta get the exact number, but I used to pay 3 something a month. And now it's over 4. So it's 80 to 100 bucks, 70 to 100 bucks right in that ballpark. I just got it. Yeah, I'm just so mad I just closed the email. I'm like, unbelievable. This inflation's killing us. And in Florida, I know insurance went up on everything, but you didn't send me a thing saying my insurance was going up at all. You just said I'm canceling 2 vehicles. My voice gets squeaky when I get upset. 2 less vehicles, $80 to $100 more a month. So, when I'm done fuming, it's the weekend now anyways, I'm gonna look at it, figure out what the heck was going on, and if they can't do nothing about it, I am moving to a completely different insurance company. Okay, enough ranting. I'm just a little frustrated with the insurance crap. It's BS, man. So right now the flower truck and my 03 S10 LS swapped S10 Extreme just sitting out in the parking lot with no insurance on them. Isn't that nice? Suckers. Can't win anything. Okay. Let me get this set up and we'll do some unboxing and show you what we got. I love it when a plan comes together. Things happen. It's the life I lead. So this guy here is a no-name 500 box that looks exactly like everybody else's except for it doesn't have the aluminum top plate. Everybody else is $400 for just the box. Again, no name, 2-year warranty. Looks identical. Comes with new bolts. $188. Let's see if it's worth it. Play in it. Casting looks decent. Like that in there. So the kits you buy, CPP and all of that, yeah, they got a nice aluminum cap up there. And then they come with all the stuff. And that kit through CPP is like, don't quote me, 700 and something bucks for the whole kit. And that comes with your pump and your bracket, your mounting bracket, depending on if you've got side mount or front mount, motor mounts. Comes with a rag joint or one of these. 18 bucks, eBay. Looks just fine. I'll make sure that fits. Cardboard on it now, but we'll make sure that fits. Okay. There is a another eBay company out there that sells this particular style of gearbox, power steering gearbox, and they sell all their bits and pieces separately. So this is the power steering hoses for their kit. And the funny part about that is their kit, everybody's kit, even CPP, it's the same damn part number. It's like SG5557. Doesn't matter who you look up on eBay, whatever, if either they're copying each other or one company makes them, so they're just copying that part number. And everybody does their own thing. The only thing CPP does is they got that nice aluminum top cap. You can't see this damn thing anyways. And I don't want to pay an extra $300 for a top cap. Don't care that much. So I got their hoses from this other company on there. $54. That's probably the only thing that wasn't cheaper, buying it separate. This was $54 through CPP and all those guys, so for 18 bucks we're saving $36. 188, we're saving $300 roughly. 54 bucks, didn't save nothing. Now you're gonna ask, what are you gonna do for a power steering pump in the brackets? This is where it's different for me than it would be for you, because I haven't looked up these prices. But when we did my brother's 55 Chevy, his 55 Nomad, we did rack and pinion on that. And he decided to use the Holley's front runner kit for a serpentine belt. And it came with a modern power steering pump and air conditioning and all that all in one kit. So we didn't use the power steering pump and bracket that he had for that. So I still have that. We didn't put it on. There's our new power steering pump pulley. The pulleys we need for the crank. The front motor mount style onto the block for the power steering pump bracket. The chrome won't get you home, but might get you, you know, front pump, top bracket off the water pump to the power steering pump. And this is some miscellaneous stuff from the brakes and the other stuff we did. So, the only thing I ain't got is the belt. You can probably buy this stuff. I think the power steering pump in chrome is like 85 bucks. And the pulleys, probably another 40, 50 bucks. I'm thinking the whole kit, this part, if you were to upgrade, if you were to buy this separate, you could piece this out and, you know, 150 bucks maybe as a kit. 150, 200, 380, 400. So for 400 bucks, the cheapest kit I found on eBay for a whole kit. Still didn't come with the power steering belts. Didn't come with the belt. I think it was $480. For the whole kit. Yeah, not bad. And this is the same pump everybody uses. This is the only weird thing I don't know if I like, but I can always cut this back here and run my, but I think you have to run it there because the deal is over here and the way it comes out, it just kind of loops in, but we'll see. Because I can always cut this back and have it loop and hide. But not bad. And that's what we're dealing with. put this back on the shelf, and we will check to make sure the hoses are the right threads and everything like that for the pump and for the box. And then we're gonna get after putting this together, or taking this apart. That should be fun. That one, and then this goes over here to the power steering somewhere. There's only one place this can go. This one, because this is just a return line with no pressure, and that goes on the back of the pump no matter what. So I guess it only matters. There we go. Only goes to one hole. That's that. Then this one is that one. Okay, so then this has got to go back. Yep. All right. So hose fittings fit. Now we'll see if the length does, but we'll figure that out later. So when I did my brother's, we already cut his steering column, and we ended up not being able to use it. That's going to be another thing. Steering column might be an issue on this. I might have to run a shorter one, and we bought a shorter one for my brother's 55, but it still didn't line up. When you did the factory steering column, we cut it. This is the inside guts of it, because that's what the Trifives do. This is slides out. This is permanently attached to the gearbox in the car. And then they give you this little deal with the kit that we were doing, the rack and pinion. This just barely fits over. And then this slides up into the steering column, and it leaves that much so that you can do this. Okay? And that way this thing doesn't move around. This locks it tight with this collar up against the column itself, and it can't move or wiggle. Well, with the steering rod that came out and went to the rack and pinion, it's going to be sitting crooked like this, which would allow this to kind of move around up and down. And with the aftermarket one, because we had to go shorter, if you put this on, it locked the shift linkage. Something weird like that, I don't remember. So we ended up having to buy a self-contained one that didn't have this movable rod inside, which is notorious on the 5 through 7s. I don't know how many other years. So I'm gonna try to wiggle out idea what we're talking about here. There's the original gearbox, and you can see it's a permanent fixture to the steering column. You can see that. Permanent fixture to the steering column. And I cut the last one down here. Well, if I can wiggle this out, which I doubt it with the motor in, I doubt it. But if I can wiggle that out with the hole, this still in place, it just comes out by taking the nut off. This is where your steering wheel goes. The steering wheel will have to come off. Slide that whole puppy out. And if I can do that from underneath, I've got that extra rod to try to mock up with my steering column. And if it's wrong, I've got a second one to deal with. I can just cut it off the one that we're trying to take out in one piece. Either that or I just cut this one super short or super long so I can back it up. But the problem is, if the new gearbox sits in the same spot as the old gearbox, this is up here is the steering column. Down here's the gearbox. How's this fit in there? So, might need a rag joint. Some kits come with this, some come with a rag joint. I didn't pay close attention. The ones that come with this might come with a shorter steering column, because a lot of guys automatically put a shorter steering column in. I have one, because the one that we had for my brothers didn't work because of what I just told you with that clamping off. It wasn't going to shift and it was going to be an issue. So we went with a tilt column aftermarket, all one piece. So I have one. Don't know if it's short enough. I think we got it minimum 2 inches shorter. Might be 4 inches shorter. And if that's the case, and again, the other thing I didn't like about that steering column, I have to dig it out yet. It didn't have a provision for the indicator switch for the shifter. There's got to be a little hook thing because it's cable driven up to the dash and it moves the park reverse thing. It's got a cable that goes from this down to the steering column, and the steering column pulls and pushes on that, and I didn't remember there being one on there. So we will see. Probably dig that out just in case we need it. Be back in a minute. Found it and dug it out. This is the aftermarket, shorter. It's got the double D end. We'll see. I really don't want it. It's not painted or anything. Not, you know, we've got that one matches, but it'd be nice to. I'd like a steering wheel that's closer to the dash. A steering column that's closer to the dash. Just these Trifives, they're so in your lap. It's fine. Me personally, I like driving with my arms in front of me and not next to my chest. You know, you drive like this in those old 50s cars. I prefer to be all, you know, it's rolling. So that's the old dropped and lowered cruising stance, you know. All right. Just a little close-up of all these pieces so you can see what we're dealing with. So this is a no-name brand. There's a bunch of them on eBay. And nice finish on it. Nice casting. Stock cap. Decent hoses. That. Just got scratched up a little bit, bouncing around, but I still got a film of oil on it. That's how they come. Very similar to all the no-name ones on. Looks exactly like a CPP one. Don't know if it is. You know, CPP just sources stuff. I'm sure it's all China. These are the pulleys that came with it. A lot of cleaning to do on them, but bracket. Big steering column. I don't know. I hope I don't have to use it. I really hope I don't have to use it. But here's the old one. You line up where the steering wheel goes. That much shorter, maybe 2 inches. And what I was saying about these, the reason that this went on this one, I don't think it's supposed to go on this one, it can't. The reason it goes on this one is the way that other rack and pinion worked. This would be curved off, okay?
over to where the rack is. Not quite that harsh, obviously, but over to where the rack is. And by putting this on, up, in like that, it would keep this from doing this with this motion of nothing holding, you know, this angle. Being that this is directly to your steering wheel, and you'd be driving down the road, you could move your steering wheel like this. Dun, 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 dun. So by putting this in and locking it, that in essence locked it. Because this was directly bolted to the gearbox, it never moved. It was stationary. But now, because of this, you've got that area that something could move in the steering wheel. Well, this piece, if you lock it on here, this has no way to shift, because this goes that way to get out of the tangs. It has to move. So if you lock this down, you have to lock it down loose, which means that it can still do this. But because we're bolting directly to that, and it's a straight in shot, I'm gonna have to make sure that this is exactly the proper size and goes into our rag joint or that, and directly into the box, and it'll be an exact size, and that ain't going nowhere once it's bolted in. So this should work. I don't need that if I use this, but I don't want to use this. Make sense? Okay. On to the next. First things first. Charge my light. Have to charge that. I'm gonna have to drain some coolant. See if I got a hose, make it easier. Because I'm getting some coolant there, I see, and that's probably, I'm almost positive it's coming from this. I've never had one of these leak in my life, but I can see the stain there where it's been rolling down and then in. So I think what I'm gonna do, probably pull the radiator, because that'll make this motor mount easier to get out, and that's the mount that's gonna be where the pump goes. I need to change that pulley and put the double pulley on. I need to get this pulley on. So all of this has got to come out. I mean, that's all got to come out anyways. So I'll start there, and then we'll see what kind of room I got. Make it easier to work. Oh, excuse me. Been one of those days, took me a minute. Got a little lightheaded, hungry. Lunchtime hit, and I was starving. I hadn't eaten since 6 o'clock the night before. Whew. Made me tired. But we're back at it. So let me get after this and see what I need to do to make this all happen. All right. So what I got going on here is nice thing about these Trifives, the drain's in the front. You just put a little hose on there. Sometimes you go out this hole over here, out the big one, into a drain bucket. Makes it good. Don't drain fast. It's gonna take a minute. Yeah, I'll come back when that's done.
Almost done today filming. There's a couple other things, I had to run some errands and whatnot, so be back tomorrow. And we'll get after this, give this a chance to drain one way or another. We'll get back at it. All right, guys. Day 2. Let's get after this, huh? 2 hoses, 3 hoses. And up we go. All right. Buried down in there. Yeah, you know, them clamps have been on there a while when the screw just comes out because the clamp's glued to the hose. Sitting. No more, little girl, though. Gonna have good steering, good brakes, good stance, nice wheels. It's gonna be great. Can't wait till it cools off enough to be able to drive you. I just made and put this hose on not too long ago, so let me know that one comes off again. I need to get that bottom one off. I can't get past this. And the radiator's got to come out first. So, find a way to grip it and rip it. Can't fit the ratchet in here without hitting the radiator. Don't want to mess all the fins up. That's why I was trying to get everything just to pull the radiator, but I forgot. It happens. I forgot. You got to put the tranny lines. Got to come off. Tranny cooler lines. Totally forgot about it. So my bad. Everything's all loosened up, ready to go anyways. But just fight this tight spot to get these off. A little better now that that shroud's a little bit out of the way. Thank goodness for ratchet wrenches. It'd be nice to have a better set of pivoting headed ones, but we'll do with what we got. See if that's enough that I can get my hand in there. If I can get my hand in there, but I can't get any torque on the fingers. That's finger tight. That one up now. Or finger loose. There's one. Get that out of the way. The other one better. That's to a point where it's finger loose. One left. And life becomes better, maybe? Hopefully? Let's hope. My hand on that one. This way. Lefty. Out a finger. Jamming a finger. go. Got better access to the tranny lines. Easier to not mess my fins up. That's a lot easier to work on now, because that motor mount's got to come out to be replaced by the motor mount with the bracket. So now I can clean this up a little bit and make it better. And I think my lower pulley, I have to go, I haven't really done my due diligence. Because I got to be able to run 2 belts. And I think all right. I think this bolt's on. It becomes my second one. But oh no, that's how I get the power steering pump in. If I get that in, I'll see where the pulley lines up. So yeah, getting there, guys. All right. Well, next step is I got stuff cleaned off the motor here, and I'll turn you around and show you what the next step is here. Throwing some paint on there too, that's why it looks all wet. Might as well throw some paint on there while we got a chance with all the stuff out of the way, right? We like our stuff to look as good as we can. Nothing's perfect. We don't do perfect. All right. So this is the bracket that the power steering pump is going to go on, right? And it replaces that motor mount. You can see this is a front mounted motor mount. It's bolted to the block and then bolted down there, and then this will replace that. Bolt right in there, but have the provision off to the side to the right there for the power steering pump. Kind of a neat little deal. I'll get that mounted up first. I did this on my dad's, which is now my brother's, the Nomad, the 55 Nomad. And I had to use the engine hoist to get the bolt started. I don't want to do that again. So, and that was the second time to get the, because we took that bracket out and put the factory bracket back in because we weren't going to use that power steering pump. So I don't remember what the deal was, but I had done this the first time, no problem. And I think it's because I'm going to do what I'm going to do right now and I'm remembering. It's nice to remember how to do shit before you get yourself in trouble. I got a little scissors jack. I'm going to put in, I think I put it in between the block and the frame to kind of hold that side of the motor up so that those bolts come out freely. And if they come out freely, then it'll slide up there, the new one will slide on, and the new bolts will go in freely. Whereas if I take any of this out, it shifts. Because I couldn't get the other one back in for some reason. I had to put an engine crate on here and lift it up, because no matter how much I lifted over here, it pushed that way and nothing would line up. So I think if I do it ahead of time, because I think I did it ahead of time last time, and it was less of an issue. So let me find my scissors jack, get that put in there, get that lifted up while I've got this loosened up so this can move, so I can just watch this kind of raise up and down. Put the jack in there, watch that raise up a little bit, then I know she's free from the weight, and that should come off and the new one should go in. That's kind of the plan. Alright, well, cannot find my scissors jack anywhere, so I guess we're gonna have to steal one out of one of the cars. Whoosh, it's getting dirty sitting out here. Oh, poor little girl. I used that once before, I guess. Haven't put it back yet. Oh, it's probably the one I used. I used to have one. And I must have misplaced it in the move. Because if this is still sitting on the floor back there. This must be the one I used. Oh man, it's hot out. The whole nation's flipping boiling. Alright. Let me set this up. I'll bring you back. Alright, let's see if this, how well this shows up. And you can see where I got it, in between the frame and the block. I'm just gonna watch here. I'm trying to watch and see if it comes up a little bit. Oh, see, it came up right there. So hopefully that's enough. I'm gonna take the rest of that off. I see a problem already. Durr. Move that. It's gonna be in the way. There. See that move again? That should be enough. Not gonna be enough room. We'll find out. Those are in good shape. It's still in the way. And just like that, we're in. You know, with all the editing and stuff, that took maybe 15 minutes, which is probably 10 minutes too long, but I don't do it every day. Remembering how to do it. You just got to keep that motor bridged up, and that's why we use the scissors jack, because otherwise this motor just drops. Even though it's, because you got to get it off of this, and then there's nothing holding it up. So we're good there. We'll get the pump in and get that tightened down. I know I got to do that before I put the pulley on, and then we'll start with the pulleys. So for those of you who don't know, this bolt, the stud, permanent, and this bolt go on that lower bracket. You cannot tighten this or do anything with this if the pulley's on.
So you have to do it before you put the pulley on. These pulleys have a keyway. Make sure you don't lose the key for the keyway. I say that and now watch me drop it. Been sitting there for months. Well, the key is with this one, because this has to go in through the front. I gotta find if I got the nuts for that. They might be still sitting in the box that I pulled that out of. We'll see. But let's mock it up.
A few moments later.
Got that hooked up in the back. Goes up to there, the water pump. That's all in. And I have got to find the nut for that so I can press that on. It's on the keyway. It just needs to be tightened and slid further onto the post there. It gets self-pressed. So, and I did break down it. Bought a different alternator bracket here than the one we were using. It's just gonna be cleaner. The other one was starting to annoy me looking at it. Well, let's see if we can see in here what we got to deal with. So that is the arm of the steering box. Goes up there to the steering box. See that springy looking thing there kind of in the center of the screen to the left? That is the steering column shaft, steering shaft that goes into the steering box. None of this is coming out in one piece, so I gotta find a way to get up there, find a way to get up here and cut that. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it from down here. I need to cut that. I need to unhook the steering or the shift linkage up here. These bolts there come undone, and then these 3 bolts, and then probably take that back off so that I can take that off on the vise, because it's not going to come off easy. And just by eyeball measuring, not able to really get deep into it to get an exact measurement, but I kind of measured, put the tape measure up there on that one to the center of this, because this is going to mount in the same 3 holes, so this should all be a standard line center. And I put the line on here, and I went this way to basically this part of that old manual box, and it was 4 inches. This one is 6. I am probably gonna have to put this in. This is the one out of my brother's 55, my brother and my dad. This is the one out of my dad's 55 my brother bought when we put the rack and pinion in. You can see it is much shorter. This part has to come off of mine to be put onto there. All the wiring's got to come out of this to go into there. Neutral safety and all that's got to go into there. This is that thing with the 2 bolts that's got to come off. So this has got to come off so that this can go around this and go onto there. So there's a lot of little stuff that needs to be done. So that's what we'll be working on over the next few times we come in and get a chance to work on this. First things first, the old MazMad. I gotta get the, I want to get all the old stuff out. I mean, before I even start playing with that steering column, it's got to come out. Pretty sure it's got to come out for me to get at. Stuff to cut. I'm pretty sure, see, it was a lot easier on my dad's because he didn't have any of the power brake stuff in at all. So this is one of those situations. I wish I would have had the money to have bought this. The plan was to buy it eventually, the power steering kit. That was the plan, to eventually do that. Thinking I could drive it the way it was with a little finesse and it would be fine for a while. And then come to find out, once we got everything put back together, it's really wasn't safe. But it would have been a lot better to have done it At the same time, I was doing the power brakes because, as you can see, with the power brake, with this out of the way, it's a straight shot to get something in on there to cut. Now this is all in the way. So I'm hoping I don't have to backpedal. It's not gonna be really easy to go in through there. I don't know if I can get my cordless die grinder in there. I hate putting the cutoff wheels on my air angle grinder. That would fit in there, but man, those things get so violent. I don't need that flying off and killing me or damaging something, so we got some thinking to do. We got some thinking to do and get it figured out. So all little projects that'll hopefully lead to an end result. Something to be said about waiting for your project to be perfect to enjoy it. Okay, I should have planned 2 projects back to back, and this wouldn't have been a problem. I hear ya. I hear ya. But it is what it is. We didn't. So there. Now we got to do this. We'll figure it out. I'll be back when I figure it out.